Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making another air fryer recipe, and this is something that I make all the time, air fryer French fries. They're one of my favorite easy snacks to make, but I am excited to try a new method in preparing them, and it's supposed to make them even crispier and just a little bit more like deep fried French fries. Let's see how it turns out. So we're gonna start off by preparing these just like you usually would. I'm gonna begin with one russet potato that I've washed. You can peel this if you want to, but I prefer to leave the skin on. So I'm just going to give that a slice right in half. And then I'm going to make strips right down the middle of that. And if your potato has any little dark spots like that, you can go ahead and just trim those right off. And I'll go ahead and repeat this with the other side. Once you have these little flat sheets of potato, I like to stack just a couple of them up, and then I'll make 1 or 2 cuts across, depending on how thick it is, and that's going to make the little French fries, and they come out so perfect every time. And I'm just gonna finish up the rest of this potato and toss it into a bowl. As you're cutting these, just do your best to make them as even as possible. Some of these strips you may only have to cut once across. Others, if they're a little bit thicker, maybe adding in 2 cuts to keep everything uniform in size. That's going to let everything cook at the same rate, so everything comes out nice and crispy. Nothing will be burnt and nothing will be undercooked. Now this is where we get into this different method of preparing these. Normally, I would soak these potatoes for a few minutes in cold water to get rid of some of those extra starches. I'm still gonna soak them, but I'm gonna be using a few cups of pretty hot water. So I'll just pour that right over my potatoes and let these soak for about 10 minutes. Now, I saw this tip online, and it's supposed to almost pre-cook your potatoes just a little bit so they're softer on the inside and get crispier on the outside, and it's still going to remove that extra starch. So it does the same thing as a regular soak for the potatoes, but pre-cooks them just a little bit. So we'll see if this makes a big difference once we toss them in the air fryer. These have been soaking for 10 minutes. The water has cooled off a bit and the French fries are noticeably a little bit more flexible. So I'm gonna drain these and dry these really well, and then we're gonna be ready to season these. I'm gonna make this with a little bit of a ranch seasoning type of a vibe. So for these, you only need a couple teaspoons of oil. I'm just gonna use a quick drizzle of olive oil and then season this up with some salt to start. You can always add a little bit more salt at the end, so don't over salt it until you can taste it. Crack in a little bit of pepper. And then to make these taste a little bit more like ranch, I'm going to add in some dried dill and a little bit of onion powder. Then I'm just going to give this a toss to evenly coat this with the oil and the seasonings, and this is already starting to smell amazing. It's gonna be a good combination. To make sure nothing sticks, I'm going to give my air fryer just a quick spray with some olive oil spray, and then I'll add in my French fries. Try and arrange these into as much of a single layer as possible. It's okay if there's a little bit of overlap. You want to make sure there's as much air flowing around the French fries as possible. That's going to let them get nice and crispy. And if you're just working with one potato at a time, unless it's a really big potato, you should be just fine to put the whole thing in for one batch of French fries. Then I'll pop that into my air fryer. I'll check the temperature and set that to 380 degrees, and we'll cook that for 15 minutes. And I'll check it about 10 minutes in, make sure that everything's looking good, nothing's burning, and give it a little toss if I need to. But these should come out fantastic. These just finished up in the air fryer. Let's see how they turned out. These look absolutely fantastic. They look nice and brown on the outside. Let's see if they're just as crispy as they look. All right, let's see if I can get this to focus in on the French fries. Here we go, because these are looking amazing. They look so crispy and I can't wait to give these a try. So I'm gonna grab this one, looks nice and brown, and see how it turned out. There is a little bit of a difference in texture. It is softer on the inside by a noticeable amount and super crispy on the outside. I would say this is worth the extra effort of just heating up some water, soaking your French fries in here before you throw them in the air fryer. It actually does make a difference. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe down in the description box below, along with links to all my social media pages so you can follow along for more cooking content. If you'd like to see more air fryer recipes, click the link off to the side.